The Northern California locals called them the ghosts. Massive, cunning, and elusive wild boars that slip to the forest like shadows. Their presence has ravaged crops, destroyed fields, and threatened livelihoods. Today, we step into a mission authorized by local authorities, entering territory where every footstep could spell danger. Our only goal is simple yet critical: prevent these beasts from returning and protect the people who depend on these lands. After speaking with villagers about terrain patterns, nighttime tracks, and the hours when boars usually appear, we launched our plan. Every step followed a precise strategy. Led by Thomas, we moved to the designated point and waited. Minutes later, a nearly 200-pound giant emerged from the brush. A perfectly controlled shot brought it down instantly. This wasn't just a victory, it was a necessary strike to safeguard the community. Fueled by determination, we pushed deeper into the forest, the usual haunt of these animals. This time it wasn't one, but an entire herd creeping toward the fields, ready to repeat the destruction. Every move they made had been anticipated. Gunfire echoed through the trees as several went down at once. This was our standard method, but the sheer number of boars flooded the area far beyond expectations, escalating the tension. A tip quickly came in from the forest's edge. Jenny, our sharpest long-range specialist, immediately acted as she positioned herself. A shadowy figure stepped into her scope. Each precise shot secured another target. A few managed to escape, but Jenny stayed confident. Our escape routes were blocked. Victory rippled across the radio. Crops saved, community safe, but the chase wasn't over. We kept moving, not willing to let any survivors slip through the cracks. The sun was unforgiving, heat radiating off every surface, turning the hunt into a test of patience and focus. These animals were clever, but none were clever enough to escape the determination driving this mission. After a short pause, entire herds appeared again, darting through the fields. We had seconds to respond. Thanks to seamless teamwork, they were swiftly subdued. The chaos dissolved into silence. The land returned to an eerie calm. As dusk began to fall, the forest dimmed, yet the hunt continued. New silhouettes moved cautiously in the fading light. With a few well-placed shots, more targets fell. Each moment confirmed our resolve. The locals could finally breathe with relief. Crops were safe, field protected, and peace temporarily restored. But before leaving, we knew the ghosts still existed. They would return someday. What mattered was that today, they had no chance to destroy the harvest. Wild boars don't just threaten crops. They challenge us, the hunters, in ways few understand. With explosive reproduction rates, they destroy millions of acres each year, pushing ecosystems toward chaos. We're not merely hunting, we're protecting nature. If we don't act, what becomes of the land? At 5 a.m., we entered a territory overtaken by boars. Each member calculated every step carefully. Hunting dogs picked up the scent instantly. Their signal pushed me forward. A massive figure sensed danger and attempted to escape, but Clean's shot dropped it. Underestimating these beasts for even a second could be fatal. We continued deeper until more figures lurked in nearby fields. A series of precise shots ended their advance. Moments later, more shadows emerged, unaware of the fate that awaited them. Once again, accuracy defined the outcome, giving them no chance to escape. An alarm suddenly erupted from the west. A boar bolted, attempting to flee after the noise. John received the call and sprinted towards his escape route. The beast didn't see him coming. One flawless shot ended his charge, and several others nearby met the same fate. Experience on our side, new targets were quickly neutralized. The terrain favored our plan. The timing and positioning were perfect. Another area was soon cleared. Moving toward the field's edge, boars emerged again. I lined up my shot. The bullet flew straight into its mark. Few things compare to that feeling. The clean precision of a perfect strike. But these animals were fast. Some darted into dense forest, escaping temporarily. We deployed new strategies, using every tool available. Soon targets began to reappear. More boars dropped as gunfire erupted from all sides. Control was absolute. Some hunts are personal. My mother's cornfield in Shikoku had been destroyed by wild boars. Fields she worked tirelessly to grow had become a battlefield. That was why we fought, to protect what mattered. But survival wasn't guaranteed. After planning our route and identifying ambush points, we geared up and moved toward the mountain. Radios checked, rifles secured, GPS collars clipped onto the dogs. Minutes later, the forest exploded into urgent barking. The dogs had cornered prey deep in bamboo. I approached carefully, moving like a shadow. A clean shot hit, but the boar fled deeper. Chasing it down, the dogs pinned it, and I delivered the final shot. This job requires a calm mind and a brave heart. The line between hunter and hunted is razor thin. We relocated to a narrow path dividing two forests, a natural bottleneck. Waiting was the hardest part. Soon the dogs came, pushing a massive boar straight toward me. It shot past like a speeding bolt. I fired fast, but its speed allowed escape. Failure didn't crush morale. We released the dogs again, tracking their movement through GPS predicting the beast's path. I sprinted to an interception point. When it appeared, one decisive bullet ended the chase. The hunt climbed into rugged terrain. Bushes trembled. A large head emerged. One breath, one squeeze, and another threat was gone. As the sun set, the dogs cornered the last boar. I yelled for them to pull back, then delivered the final shot of the day. With everything loaded into the truck, we returned home under the golden sky. Every hunt is a face-off with danger, but we do it to bring peace to the villages and protect the hard-earned fields that feed families. After harvest season, fields become ideal feeding grounds for wild boars. They dig trenches, uproot soil, and leave chaos behind. That's why we organize another hunt. We check gear, ammo, radios, and protective equipment before heading out. 20 minutes later, the battleground appeared, an open field perfect for an ambush. After splitting into groups, a tremor swept across the ground as a herd ran through. The leader fired once. One fell. Backup shots dropped more. Some fled straight toward me. One charged head-on. I steadied myself and fired into its heart and lungs, ending the danger instantly. Staying calm in moments like that is everything. To the left, another giant burst into view. My teammate calculated its direction and fired a perfect shot, flipping the beast mid-run. Another boar sprinted from the crops. A fast reflex ended its escape too. Switching to plan B, we spread out using motorcycles to cover more ground. Engines startled several hidden boars. One sprinted past as my teammate pursued on his bike, controlling the throttle with one hand and the rifle with the other. He fired with precision, dropping the target while still riding. Following more tracks, we entered the final stage. A massive boar glared at us, eyes burning with defiance. It charged at full speed, heart thundering. I calculated the single instant that would decide everything. At the perfect distance, I fired. The beast fell at my feet, ending the final confrontation.